We live and yeah, man, we got some things to talk about today. Got some things to talk about today as my alarm goes off and the food is being delivered. So I literally started. I was waiting as much as I can before the food got delivered, but it's delivered. But we live. This is what happens when you struggle stream. Every now and then things like that happen. You go live and then somebody ring your doorbell and yeah, you gotta and but my son's upstairs, so he's got this. But shout out to everybody who watching live. Thank you guys so much. Of course, the bro Chavis Greenard is here. What's going on, man? Am I saying your name right? Greenard. I hope I'm saying that right, bro. And we got the sister Chelsea in the house. What's going on? And thank you for all those who are watching via replay. I greatly appreciate you guys. Do me a favor. If you have not done so yet, hit the like button. Ahora. For those who don't speak Spanish, that just means now. And although my father's Puerto Rican, I myself don't speak fluent Spanish. I think if I was to end up in a Spanish speaking country, I can hold my own, but I don't think I would be able to engage in a full on conversation. I know how to get what I need and leave with a very Yankee accent. But guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, and it'll tell YouTube that this is a video worth sharing, and they will share it out. So please, do me that favor. It costs you nothing, and that's the way you can show support today. Unless you want to give a brother a super chat or a super thanks for those who are watching the replay. That's another way to show support. So today I have an interesting conversation that may be triggering. Danger for the men out there, and for those who police talks about race relations in the world and in America. Danger. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things today. All of it pertains to manhood and the Manosphere red spill space. If you see the title and you see the thumbnail, I created a logo that said Manosphere 4.0. And that's because we have in the YouTube space, at least, these subgenres of manhood content, content pertaining to men, that is popular, but that may not be all that healthy for men. So as I was doing my research, I realized that there were certain levels of this manosphere, certain eras, I would say. All right, certain eras of the manosphere or the red pill or all that stuff. And there's a difference between the two. We won't get into that today, but I'm speaking in regards to the manosphere for a reason. All right. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I am a subscriber to his channel. I do not subscribe to a lot of the Manosphere red pill content, but shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson because he is well known in the Manosphere, specifically the Black Manosphere. If you go into his channel, he has videos about his involvement with that subgenre on YouTube, and he does a lot. He does a lot of content, and I watch his growth. I'm gonna be honest with you. And O'Shea, if you're watching this, I'm gonna be real with you. I ain't but like 2 years older than you. I'm 43. I think you said you're 41. But like a couple of years ago, your content was, I was like, yo, I can't rock with it. But as of late, the maturity in this man has grown exponentially throughout the years, and he's actually adding true value to YouTube, to the YouTube community, to the Black Manosphere space. But the problem is this: when you're dealing with an open source like YouTube, anybody can enter in your community and influence negatively the people that you're trying to influence positively. So there's it's hard to have systems in place and safeguards in place when you're trying to create a platform on YouTube that helps people improve, actually helps people improve, because you're going to have those people that come in and try to stir the pot, create drama, and take your viewers and really inject the negativity in them. And I think that he's at a place now, and he just posted a thing on his YouTube. He's at a place now where he's completely frustrated with the space, and I get it. I've been frustrated with the space since day one. And I am a manhood guy. I'm a manhood guy. I believe in the importance of men. I'm a Christian, a Bible believing Christian, and the Bible promotes healthy manhood. In fact, the Word of God says here, all right. If I could just take this comment off, give me one moment. I'm going to take this comment off. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 16:13 to be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. And then verse 14 says, and let everything that you do be done in love. So the Bible tells men to act like men. So when you have spaces on YouTube like Manosphere, Red Pill, and all the other colored pills, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, um, that's just my opinion. No knock to you guys. I just don't find the gimmicks behind it is pretty cringe to me. It doesn't really do much, but I get the premise for what they're doing, especially with the rise of this modern wave of feminism, where men today have become devalued, where men today have become unappreciated. They're told that they are expendable. They're not needed, uh, and that's absolutely false because men need women and women need men. We need each other to survive in society. We need each other to cooperate with one another, to collaborate with one another, to connect with one another in order for society to move forward. Because if it doesn't happen, we're on the verge of extinction. Extinction. That's just it is what it is. That's how every single species, right, will become instinct extinct if the males and the females don't work collaboratively to make sure that the species continue. Okay, so when we have this new wave of modern feminism telling men and telling women that men are expendable, they're not needed, you can do it without you, single girl, independent women, all that stuff, then you're going to have spaces like the Manosphere that's going to encourage men to be men. But the problem is, not all men in these spaces are encouraging men to be men. They're encouraging men to be children still, little boys. All right. They're encouraging men to be little boys. A couple of years ago, I remember there was a movement. Um, it wasn't started by Reach and the 116 crew, Lecrae and all them, but they sort of tried to start like a micro sub movement called Man Up, and I loved it. I even wrote a book, right? I wrote a book called From a Fatherless Father to His Sons, encouraging young men to find their path to manhood without a man necessarily show them how, because many of us, including myself, grew up in homes without a father. I grew up with my grandmother and my mother. My uncle was there from time to time. My little brother's father, Alvin, who's like my father, my pop, he was there from time to time, but I didn't have a full-time dad in the home. So I had to really navigate life and make mistakes. And in that book, I wrote the mistakes that I made and how they can avoid it. And that's the beautiful thing about having a man around. They can teach you the ropes because they've been through it and you can learn from their experience. And that's why men are needed. We need men to be men, to show young boys how to become men. We need a rites of passage in this nation for American boys, especially young Black American boys. And that's just my opinion. Chavis says, yes, the gender war itself is toxic. It is. It is. And it's going back and forth. And I'm sort of tired of it. And I want to try to start a new version of the Manosphere called the Manosphere 4.0, which encourages people to enter the era of self accountability. Because I'm sorry, this is really, give me a second. If people were to be self accountable to their own actions, we can move forward together, admit fault, bring healing, and move on. It doesn't happen that way. But I do want to share a video, and you also see just pearly things on here. We're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the man, what this, I saw this video on YouTube, what he believes is happening today with the modern man. And this is a video of somebody who was in the Manosphere. He's got a channel of like 129,000 subscribers. My, sub 7,000 subscriber list doesn't match his. So not many people are going to want to come to my channel and listen to me, even though I have a good sense of what I'm talking about, a good knowledge. I'm open-minded. I have degrees in this kind of stuff. I've done extensive research. I didn't just I didn't just look at the data. I analyzed the data. I've identified some variables within the data that caused the problem, and then able to find some solutions for the variables that creates the data. That's what I did, right? And some people just like numbers being thrown at them because they use the numbers to twist their argument. That's not me. I'm not using numbers to twist arguments, because the fact of the matter is this: while people on the outside looking at numbers and just the general numbers, the work that I do actually provide the numbers for the statistics. So people are like, well, the numbers say. I understand that. I helped add to the numbers when I report when I make reports about my counseling and the families that I serve. I report numbers, right? See, you guys see only numbers. Counselors, therapists, psychologists, hopefully healthy and um, good life coaches look at what is happening that's causing the data and the different variables in that data, on those data points. So we look at the data points. What caused this specific data point? This thing caused it. All right, let's get to this. Let's get to the solutions. Either way, but my channel is not based on drama. It's not based on um, toxicness. I just want to see people do better. Okay. And by the way, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so right now. All right. So I'm going to get into this video before I show O'Shea Dukes Jackson's. Well, it's not his video. It's his video, but I'm going to show a clip of his video because I don't want to go on to Just Pearly Things channel and give her the view. I'd rather give it to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'm not hating on Just Pearly Things. I'm just going to explain to you why I choose not to give her views on her channel. Okay. So this guy right here, right, shares the uncomfortable truth about the Manosphere in 2023. Okay. I don't know his name. Let me see if I can get. The channel is Playing with Fire. The video is 2 months old. It only has 9.7K. He has a channel of 129,000 subscribers. His content is Manosphere, and he has some really outrageous stuff on his channel. So I'm not telling you necessarily to go over there and subscribe, because as you can see, I'm not. But it does bring up some valid points here. And again, disclaimer.
Danger.
He does say certain curse words. I do not curse on my channel. I don't have one. I do have but like sound effects, but I'm not that quick enough to mute out live curses. And from what I watch, it's not like he uses the sugar honey iced tea word a couple of times. So let's get into this video real quick, and then we're gonna commentate, and I may stop it in between. But check this out, and I think he's right. I think for the most part, he's right. Check this out.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to reveal the uncomfortable truth about the current state of the Manosphere. So what is the current state of the Manosphere? Well, if we're being honest, the current state is shit. And there are 4 main issues you see in our community. The first one is...
As you can see, he uses the sugar honey iced tea word a lot. So
Danger.
Please, if you're one of my students, please go away. Please. All right.
Tribalism. So when I got into this community, 2010, 2011, right, there was a sense of camaraderie, right? So I remember getting in through RSD Inner Circle, meeting up with wings in my area, and of course there was division, not everyone got along, sometimes there was bickering. However, overall, there was a sense of we're in this together, we're all trying to level up as men. That sense is gone. You see a bunch of different factions, you see the black pill faction, the red pill faction, the blue pill faction, the pickup faction, the MGTOW faction. In each one of these factions, there's also sub-factions. So for example, in the red pill community, you have the Anthony Johnson part, then you have the Fresh and Fit part, and all these little sub-factions and factions are fighting with each other. There's a lot of infighting, no one's getting along, and everyone is talking shit. And
that's the problem with things like it's things like this. It starts off well-meaning, right? It starts off well-meaning, and then you have those people who come in and they see an opportunity. They see that now, like there's people that at one point did not have a voice, and I see everybody in the chat. I'm going to get to the chat, so please bear with me. Well, at one point, people did not have a voice, and now they have a voice among other men that struggle with the same thing as them. And for them to elevate, they need to keep them down in order to be elevated at a higher place. Okay. So you have competition, you have fighting because somebody's got to be the top dog. And it's not like that whole somebody's got to be alpha. These are pseudo alphas. I trying to rank themselves in the space where people are just listen. I have my space here. I have my community. Let's get together and let's work together. But that doesn't really happen. So you have something that started off really well. Try to improve the lives of men. People come in, see an opportunity. They notice that there's money and toxicity. They spread the toxicity within the space, get people to hate one specific demographic, and you start speaking negatively about that demographic, start feeding their egos and stuff, and they start giving you money. Boom. Like two young men I know that have a podcast in Miami, Florida. No names, but is what it is.
And I am a little bit guilty of this myself. I've engaged in a little bit of shit talking. But what I've tried to do is to bridge the gap and invite people from different parts of our community, even outside of the Manosphere community, to come together and have discussions, have debates. And some people have actually done that and have engaged in that with me. However, there's also a lot of people, in fact, the majority of people in the Manosphere who are not willing to do that. They don't want to have debates. They don't want to have discussions with anyone who's not in their sub-faction. All they want to do is talk shit behind their computer or just get involved in their little circle jerk with their community and not engage with anyone who's outside their faction, which is unfortunate because the sense of tribalism is literally tearing the community apart. So that is the first thing. The second issue we have is frauds and LARPers. So I would say that 95% of the Manosphere is basically people who either have no idea what they're talking about and full-on scamming, or people who are heavily exaggerating and partially scamming, right?
Did you hear what he said? I'm gonna repeat that. Listen to what he says. All right. Listen to what he says. And this is I agree with. Yeah, nobody's coming in this space becoming somebody's, and they're frauds.
Sphere is basically people who either have no idea what they're talking about and full-on scamming, or people who are heavily exaggerating and partially scamming, right? Only a very small percentage of this community is people who are actually competent in whatever they're teaching. And unfortunately, it is typically the people who have the best marketing who get the most views, who get the most sales, right? So for example, someone like me who's saying, hey, listen, if you work really hard, you put in the effort, you get really good photos, you do this over and over again, right? That's not really as sexy as someone saying, oh, just send this text and you're going to get like a threesome within 24 hours, right?
And that's been this modern manosphere, which is why we need to elevate the manosphere. Like I'm a part of it. I'm not. So why the manosphere got to elevate to 4.0 and start improving all of this stuff and leaving these bozos outside of it. And I say bozos in the most respectful way. Okay, let's keep going.
So again, the truth isn't really that sexy. What is sexy is actually falsehoods and a bunch of lies and exaggerations. So that is an unfortunate part of this community. Facts. And again, you have a lot of the blind leading the blind, which is unfortunate because it's sending a lot of men in the wrong direction. And then
did you hear what he said? We have a lot of the blind leading the blind, and what happens? It sends men in the wrong direction. That's a bar. It's a bar. When the blind lead the blind, they're leading each other in the wrong direction. We have leaders in this space who are blind, and they're leading themselves and other men in the wrong directions. Or they're just like certain artists out there who sing about being a single woman and encouraging women to be single and live their life while they're hugged up with their husbands. It's the same thing. You got men who may be married, shout out to Roland Tomasi, and telling other young men that they need to be this way to women, which will, pretty much keep them single because most women won't deal with the nonsense that the men are putting out there. Right? But they're married and get to sleep next to their wives. This is what he's talking about, the frauds. People aren't doing people aren't living the work that they're telling people to do. Let's keep going.
When they start going down the wrong direction, they just come to the conclusion that all of the manosphere is bullshit, and the best thing they can do is just become, incels, right? Which again is extremely unfortunate, and that could be fixed if there wasn't, this sense of the blind leading the blind. I think the third issue I see in this community,
and we've never heard of incels before these spaces started to explode. Men weren't trying to be involuntarily celibate, which they should be if they're not married. Just saying, men weren't trying to be, but they would rather sit on YouTube, watch all this nonsense and this toxic ingestion of negativity, which causes them to hate women, then complain about being involved in incels, and they create these groups of incels, and they complain about all the nonsense that women, and it's not really elevating men. It isn't. And the problem is the people who are making the most money out of this understand that it's marketing. It's business for them. They can care less about who's watching and who's listening. They don't care about the viewers. They care about the money that's being provided. Which is what one thing I can't say about KS, Mr. Samuels, got, rest in peace, is that I believe he really wanted to help. I really do. I really do. Okay. And he wasn't really connected. Actually, when he was connected to these spaces, he definitely disconnected himself from those kind of toxic messaging out there. He would go in their interviews and then eventually pull back, right? And actually, I think O'Shea Duke Jackson talked about this a little bit in one of his videos I remember watching. But he wasn't involved in all that nonsense, and he tried to. I really believe he tried to create a space where he was trying to help. Although I disagree with him on several things. I can't front, but I think deep down he was really trying to help. Okay, but you got these groups and these incels. A shout out to CP the artist, right? The activator. It's called Water and Pomade. Water and Pomade. You funny, man. You stay on me, bro. But yeah, but that's the fact of the matter. But let's continue.
Is a thirst for drama. So the manosphere has honestly become like a bunch of middle school girls, which is very sad for me to say, but it is true if we're being honest. Now, a lot of people say they want value.
I heard that, but I almost spit up my coffee. You said these manosphere dudes have become a lot like middle school girls with the drama. I'm gonna let him keep going. He's cooking right now.
However, that is not really true. When I do live streams where I do like text game breakdowns or Tinder profile reviews or just practical advice, I get like 100 live viewers. Whenever I do a debate with some random black pillar, I get like 300, 400 live viewers. The numbers don't lie. People say they want value, but they really thirst for is drama. That's why you have Fresh and Fit hitting over 1 million subs. Do you think they hit over 1 million subs because of the practical wisdom they offer? No, it is because of the drama. This community is very thirsty for drama. And I've only seen that getting worse and worse every single year. And that poses a major, challenge to me and other content creators because, hey, we want to give value, but we...
Shout out to Gracious Greatness. I'm voluntarily celibate as a Christ follower. That's what the man folk should be. Yes, the manosphere should be looking to do that and not be involuntarily. Because the thing is not, because truth of the matter is this, let's be real. If you want something, right, and you feel like you deserve it and you don't get it, you become bitter at the people that's not giving it to you. So these men and the incels, they want nunu from the women. The women aren't giving them nunu, so they get angry at the women for not giving them nunu. So they become incels. And these incels eat up this manosphere red pill content like it's a 5-course meal. It's unfortunate. We need to step up the manosphere to Manosphere 4.0. I'm just saying.
know that if we give value, no one's going to give a shit, no one's going to click on that. If we give drama, that's what people are going to click on. Now, what I try to do is find a reasonable compromise. So what I try to do is give people infotainment, right? So I'm still giving them information, but it's in a very entertaining fashion. Speed dates are a good example of that. If you watch my speed dates, there's a little bit of drama, right? There's entertainment, but there's also a lot of information if you're willing to absorb. So that's kind of the compromise that I've reached at. And I think the last unfortunate thing about...
Sorry, Onana's in the building. Onana is in the building. What's going on, sis? It's been a minute. Yes, it has. How have you been? Hope all is well, sis. Hope all is well. Glad you're here. Greatly appreciate you.
About this community is that it's become tied to a political ideology. Not completely, but to some extent it has, which is unfortunate because 10 years ago, politics was not a part of the manosphere, right? It was like, hey, you might be a liberal, I might be a conservative, you might be a moderate, but we're all in this together trying to prove as men. But now, you see basically this community has become tied to like this cringy conspiracy theory stuff, which for someone who's a normie and outsider who looks in this community, they're like, well, I want to improve as a man, but I don't want to believe in like this like crazy conspiracy crap. This community seems like a bunch of lunatics, right? It's literally making our community seem like a laughingstock. And I think the biggest issue, which is kind of something I've touched on, but I think should be restated, is this community has become very, very toxic. The toxicity is real. Even with the PWF, sub-community, right, which I would say is definitely one of the better ones. As far as people go, it's definitely at the very top. I would say 1/3 of my chat is toxic. It's people who want other people to fail. It's people who are constantly talking shit. It's very negative people hoping to spread their negativity. Again,
he's already in the Manosphere 4.0, the era of self-accountability. He understands that he has a voice. And the people that are listening to him may be toxic, and they want him to be toxic too. So they'll inject their toxic comments in his live streams. And he's saying, listen, the majority of the he said like 2/3, a percentage of the comments are negative. And he's admitting to it. He understands it. And I'm glad that there are men like this that are coming in, growing up, maturing, men like this guy, and I don't know what his doctrinal stance is. He's probably not a Christian, okay? Uh, and then O'Shea Duke Jackson, who is a Christian, he professes to be a Christian. Um, they're now growing up and they're seeing. Listen, man, I made some dumb choices. Dumb choices. It's like, it just seems like, and I say this in love, guys. It just seems like the only ones. It seems like it because of who's big, that the ones who are not being self accountable and trying to help improve the generation behind them are this independent female mindset type of women, right? Because they're the ones married and telling young girls to stay single and live their life, and creating music and anthems for them to follow. Where men get older and they start trying to school younger men, you know. There are other men, I'm pretty sure I know we all got them uncles that will tell our young men, yeah, man, never give your heart to a woman, you know, be a player like me forever. But then you look at him, right? And he's overweight, you know, drunk every family outing. And you look at him and say, yeah, okay, uncle, but you look mad miserable. I don't want that in my life. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Manosphere is definitely incel land. Is it me or is it so I speed up just a little bit so that it's less likely, which is still may happen, to be copywritten or get a copyright strike or copyright notification. So I speed up just a little bit to try to make some changes in it so that they can't say that I'm using this content to, yeah. So it's my attempt at changing it up a little bit and making it my own. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why it's a little fast. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, man. So I tell you, yo, listen, don't be listening to these old uncles telling you be a player, man. Be a player. Don't give your heart to no woman. Be a player like me, living in a one-bedroom apartment, or a studio apartment, and he's in his late 50s, trying to tell the younger generation to still be players. Nah, I ain't about that life. We might have to hook up, bro. Try out brand called It's Plant Made. Oh, you guys, all right, all right. I see you guys connected. Let's continue.
There's a lot of good people in PWF. 2/3 of this community is positive people who have good intentions, who want to get better. But there's also a very loud and vocal minority who is extremely toxic. And I've seen this, manifest in various ways. I've had content creators tell me, "Hey, Alex, I really like you. I like your content. I no longer want to go on your channel because it's really, really toxic." Even my own girlfriend was like, "Hey, I really support what you do, but every time I go on your channel, people just talk massive shit about me and it's taking a toll on my mental health."
And this is something that I had to like really scale back on. Before I started doing live stream and commentary on issues pertaining to faith, family, father, and manhood, I actually had a vlogging channel. I had a vlog. Yeah, if you guys, all my videos are still up. You can go back from till 2016 and watch all my vlogs. They're all still on this channel. And some people, who may disagree with me on here, may come at my family. So I had to like really pull back. And after getting married, you guys don't see my wife on my channel because I'm not going to give you guys fodder to say anything negative about my wife. My sons are all grown up, so if you got beef with them, they'll come see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, except for my 15-year-old, even though he's bigger than all of us, he may come see you too. You know what I'm saying? So, but I have thick skin. You guys joke about me, I'm gonna probably clap back in a very intelligent way to get you thinking about what you said about me. But yeah, man, like we have immature men, as he said, on these spaces who disagree with you and they want to come at your family or your wife or your kids and stuff like that, which again reminds me of the middle school girls he was referring to. Am I lying?
get called a slut, I get insulted, I get told I'm for the streets, I get told I'm busted three, which again is extremely uncalled for. Like, why would you insult a girl who's being nice and coming on trying to spread value, right? Which again, this community has become toxic, and it's a very loud minority that is really making things worse. But again, this poses a great challenge for me as a content creator because I also have a free speech policy, so I don't want to actually like kick those people out, ban them, right? Which is again something I'm struggling with as a content creator. So you see all these issues, and the community has become very uninvolved.
Yep. And TP to artists, yeah, I said this early in the live stream that the Manosphere is a lot of communities, not just Red Pill. There's so many different subgenres within this space, a lot. So, which has some again, this space is needed. It's needed. Just we got to be able to level it up to a place that really does help men.
Fighting for the outside person. Like they look at this community, they're like, why the hell would I want to get involved in this shit? It's just a bunch of people who are really toxic, who talk shit about each other, who want people to fail, who are just basically just seem like miserable human beings. Which again, it's not fair to most of this community, but that's the perception to outsiders. Like again, I have a lot of friends who are not in the manosphere, they look at this community and that is exactly what they tell me. However, it's not all
Yes, CPD artist.
bad. There's a lot of redeeming qualities about the manosphere. The first is that there are
I'm gonna let that marinate right there. I can't reach. It's over there. I'm gonna let that marinate.
Are actually people in this community who care, who know what they're talking about, and give practical value. Now, when you search Manosphere, it's not going to be guys like me or Austin Summers who can come out the top, right? Again, it's going to be like Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate. However, if you dig deep and you know where to look, you can find a lot of guys who have a lot of expertise who can really help you level up as a man. So that's the first thing.
And that's another thing, men. There's an argument that a lot of these men with big platforms and podcasts would say about women, and that's that they live in echo chambers. I hear that all the time. And if you guys hear that in the comments or in the chat, leave it down below in the chat. Leave it to comment down below. If you've ever heard some of these big Manosphere, Red Pill podcasts and speakers talk about how women live in echo chambers, so they don't want to hear anything else, right? But it's the same thing. It's the same thing with these spaces. They live in echo chambers. So what they do is they tend to find the people that pander to them and not give them truth that actually benefits them. They give just certain facts without understanding this is what you need to do to actually improve in this area. They keep talking about the problem and then say the reason for the problem are women. All right. So we have these spaces of echo chambers of men angry at women, trying to diss women and disregard women and their value to society. And it's creating I'm just afraid of the future for it. I really am. I really am. But he's right here. He's absolutely right.
The second thing is there's still a lot of good people in this community. I would say the majority of the manosphere is actually guys who mean well, who actually want to improve, are good-hearted people, right? But again, they're being silenced by a very vocal, negative minority. So I think this community definitely does have a lot of redeeming qualities, but it is time for the manosphere to get back on track, to slow down with the drama. Again, it can be fun, I get it, but to really focus on giving value, stop the tribalism, have conversations with each other, do debates, and stop all this weird shit that's going on that's setting our community back. All right, hopefully.
So I'm gonna end that video here. He brings up great points. Great points. And I agree with him on this. I do. I agree with him. I think he's correct. And this is going to segue into the whole just pearly things thing. His assessment is correct. And the proof of that is just pearly things. When you have talking points or when you have a community of, and I'm going to say it, you may not like the term, I'm going to say it, of broken people, specifically men, who have been divorced, who have been devalued, who have been told that they don't mean anything to society, who have told that they are expendable when it comes to their children, that they don't that they become secondary to the mothers of their children. All these things, when they're told all this, all right, they become bitter, they become angry, and now what happens is you have people who don't have any kids, never been married, right? Maybe not even the same race or whatever or gender, come in and start pandering, and instead of helping elevate this genre of people who are hurting, they keep telling them what's the problem with the other demographic who thinks they're hurting them, making them even more bitter. And they know that if they keep doing that, their super chats will start coming in, their super thanks, their Patreons will grow. They can talk about any toxic thing. Because here's the thing. If somebody punched me in my face, I'm probably going to forgive them. But if somebody punched me in my face and somebody else comes to me, right? Well, let's say, for instance, somebody slaps me in my face on like the Oscars stage, right? And somebody comes to me and they start saying, oh, I can't believe they did that to you. That person's such a B. It's going to make you feel good, right? It's going to make you feel good. And you get to agree, yeah, that person is such a this. It makes you feel good. Because all it does is it helps. It doesn't help you heal. It sort of it makes you feel validated for what you feel at the moment. So it's not helping you heal. They're just validating your feelings in the moment. And although your feelings may need to be validated, there's got to have healing after that. There's got to be healing. They're not offering healing. They have these general talking points that they know their audience, because if you listen to them, they say the same thing over and over again. Nothing's new. Nothing's new. Over and over and over again, they say the same thing. They're not adding any true value to people. They're writing books without any knowledge of what they're actually talking about. They have some experience, and they base a lot of what they say on their own individual experience. And that's the thing about counselors. Counselors aren't talking to you and trying to help you through their own experiences. They're trying to identify your experience, identify the variables, help you cope and self-regulate and be able to come out of that yourself, but not these people. They want to take these talking points and give it to this subgenre so they can continue hating people or a demographic and keep giving them money for their hate. Which is why we need the Manosphere 4.0, the era of self accountability, Christian edition. All right. But it segues into this because now what he's talking about is now when you have negativity, you have people who are able to now come into the space and capitalize on the negativity. It's a brilliant strategy. It's the same strategy that countries have been using to dismantle other countries from within the inside. Get them hating each other. We make all the money. It's like in Iron Man, Tony Stark's, right? He changed, but prior to that, he was selling, arms to every country. Get them fighting each other. It makes me money. I don't care. I don't care what happens to the world if it destroys itself, as long as I get rich in the process. It's nonsense. But just Pearly Things comes into the space, the red pill manosphere space and the manosphere red pill space. And she has pretty much taken over a large market of that. She has outgrown people who have been in the space for years, such as O'Shea Duke Jackson, such as a YouTuber who has been on her channel recently, a mediocre tutorial and reviews, who I believe, and I say this respectfully, I'm not subscribed to his channel. I was at one point, but I think I have outgrown a lot of his talking points. Who essentially tried to defend her, but then understood that what she said was, pretty bad, and there was no defense to it. But even then, he was a little bit more soft, and I think it's because of the work relationship that they have. I don't believe people should be canceled. I am like a free speech kind of guy, but I think people should be careful about what they say, and they should be held accountable for their actions or and their words. And that's just me. So, yeah, that's how I feel. So, she did. I'm going to play a video about what she said, so you guys will have context. But she's in a space where she has a platform, a podcast that that caters to a large Black audience in the Manosphere Red Spill space, both American and in the UK. And she has gotten a lot of support and was able to leverage getting and using Blacks and African Americans and African UKs to be in her podcast and leverage that to develop a channel and build a channel over 1 million subscribers. And she gained that within the past couple of months. It wasn't even that long. And shout out to Hafiz. That interview that they had was instrumental in her growth. It was. If you look before that, she was like growing, but not like that. And after that interview with Hafiz and it went viral, she exploded. And just I'm going to say this: people like Hafiz is needed in the manosphere space. Okay, I believe that he is a genuine voice. I think he has to polish his speech a little bit and his character, because not many people have the nicest things to say about him as far as, but I think I'm pretty sure he's like a really cool guy and whatnot. But yeah, I think Hafiz is a needed voice in this space. All right. But we know what else is needed? Men who can call out the nonsense in other people, such as just pearly things, such as what O'Shea Duke Jackson is saying, and he's really not letting this slide, which I agree with. But MTR, don't really listen to him. I think he's more of a shock and entertainment kind of guy in this space. But yeah, good question. I haven't seen Hafiz on YouTube in a minute. I know the Roommate podcast still posts some things from time to time, but I haven't seen him on YouTube in a minute. But I think he's needed in this space. I think he has a genuine heart for it. But again, she has built a platform and recently said just early things. Recently said some things that was not just wrong, but disrespectful to the very people that made her big, that she employs, as she calls it, that she employs. She employs Africans, that has supported her. And I'm gonna let the video play. So shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. This is his video, but I am going to play it from his channel because I do not want to give Just Pretty Things the view. Okay, here we go.
It was the Holocaust was not special, and all countries have done that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so you're saying, why is the Holocaust special?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, what do you mean, basically?
Well, yeah, I mean, because of course, we're getting into the details of it, but yeah, that's the gist.
Yeah, I mean,
now here's a problem when you have a 24-year-old who has a biased mindset, probably has done zero research, who is wrapped up in conspiracy theories. Give them a platform and they start saying things like this. But
you kind of deny it happened.
Yeah, I deny some of the parts of it.
You deny parts of it don't seem realistic.
Listen
to
to
you.
this.
I think they were embellished upon.
I think they're embellished.
It's the same way. This sounds. Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
They're gonna be in trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by.
So we African Americans do not get their historical cues from Roots. We all understand that it was a fictional account of what was happening at that time. We know that Roots is not a historical documentary. We know that. And she's probably watched Roots and was like, I bet you black people think that this is actually like what this would actually happen, like the real thing. No, things like that happened. Well documented that things like that happen. And somebody took an actual things that happened and made a fictional account of actual things that would happen using people, different names and stuff like that. And from my understanding, if I remember correctly, it was Alex Haley's trying to identify his family story. Listen, I'm gonna rewind that just a little bit so that you guys can hear what she said again. Listen carefully, please.
Oh boy.
They're gonna be in trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff.
And this is what she actually thinks. This is out of her own words.
Too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often
know his name, Alex Haley. If you're gonna know his name, please.
But that's what they do, is they embellish. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible. It was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible so that they can control people.
And she's smart with her words, because I'm gonna rewind it, because not one time did she say black people, because then she's very smart. She's gonna say, I never once said black people though, right? Listen.
Embellish. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to.
So who was his people? Black people. Okay. Yes, and they used. I'm gonna leave this up there, Chelsea, and then she uses they. So after the person who created, so we can paint this all together, so that you understand how communication happens, because she's going to say, I never said black people. All right, don't misquote me. That's how brilliant debaters think and how they rebut. She's going to say, I never said black people. She referred to Alex Haley, or the guy who created Roots, wanting a story for his people, who was his people, black people. At that point, every reference to them, they, them, refers to black people. Whether she wants to admit it or not, it all refers to black people. So keep going. Let's keep going.
To live by. So they often, but that's what they do is they.
And I don't know one person who references roots, right, for their historical context about slavery. I haven't had any conversations with any academic, black or white or whoever, who said slavery was bad. In Roots, you saw what happened in Roots? Gosh. Not one time. Not one time in the, well, I've been in school. I said in the 43 years of my life, living in black communities, going to schools that were white, have I ever heard anybody use Roots as an academic reference for slavery? Not once. Not once.
Embellish, and I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible, it was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible so that they can control people.
Yeah.
So they want to make it more horrible so that they can control people. Just Pearly Things. Who's they? Who's they? They being the people that support your work on YouTube? Them? They're the ones that's embellishing? Sis. Let's keep going.
I was like, STEM, no. They all said I was crazy. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Austin.
Yeah, he
Austin.
skipped something. Oh.
Well, but you're very industrious.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, listen.
I mean, there are a lot of people that would like to be a YouTuber because they'd like people to care about their opinions and like what they ate for lunch and, you know, things about my life that just make sense or whatever. But how many people can make a company and deal with the things you deal with, you know, like recruiting and, you know, because I mean, not on the same scale as you, but I do things and it's tough. You know, it's a business. It's fun not in front of the camera.
And if you don't know who this is, Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a white nationalist. Don't let his name fool you. Is a white nationalist who promotes some pretty segregated ideologies. I'll say it like that. People will say, "Well, you know, it's not really racism." I'll segregated ideologies. I call it racist ideologies. And she's platformed him on her channel. And O'Shea Duke Jackson did a really good assessment about why he thinks she is starting to platform people like him on her channel. Really, really good video. It may not be 100% correct, but if you look how he connected the pieces, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Camera, but behind the scenes, it's a business. And that is a German attribute to be industrious. I'm Italian, but behind the scenes, it's a business. And that is a German attribute to be industrious. I'm Italian. The only times I'm on time for things is when I like get the time wrong, when I think I'm supposed to be there way earlier than I'm actually supposed to be there. Because I thought I was supposed to.
Listen now. Now, he made a stab at his own self being Italian and being late. Nothing wrong with that. Right? Stab at his own self. Listen to Just Pearly Things right now.
Supposed to be here at 3.
Oh, really?
That's why I texted you. I texted you I'm on my way because I thought I was already 10 minutes late when I was leaving.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Blessing was more late African.
Well, he's black.
Yeah.
Blessings was more late. So Nick Fuentes was late to the interview. But Blessings, who is her producer, like, you know, he's the producer. He's the guy behind the scenes doing all the work. He's African. He was late. And she made sure to point out that he was African. And then he said, of course, he's black. And he's laughing. They're both laughing about it. So I'm gonna try to rewind this a little bit. I want her photo up here. I'm gonna leave this right here. Okay. So there are many women in the manosphere space, many voices, female voices, that are encouraging men to level up. And they're not just pointing out the ills of the female demographic that these men are upset about or hurt about. The problem I have with the manosphere is that they have become so naive and gullible because anybody can come into the space with the same talking points and become successful. If I wasn't who I was, if I wasn't a believer, I guarantee that I can say the same talking points, and within a year, I will have 100,000 subscribers. But that's not what I'm about. I don't think there's got to be a level of entertainment to this as well. But what I won't do is allow the entertainment value of my channel supersede the healing that I would like to come out of this channel. I think O'Shea Duke Jackson is at that place as well. Because it's entertaining. Some of the stuff he says is like, yo, O'Shea, man. Yeah, it's funny, but yo, you went too far. But it doesn't supersede what he's trying to do on his channel. Can anybody clearly define Jess Pearly Thing's mission? What's her end game here? You have the talking points. You have an audience, and I am going to pander to this audience. Yo, it's crazy. And shout out to Bivette Log. What's going on? Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. And please hit that like button. You're right. It's money. It's money. And when you watch their live streams, right, they are getting poured with super chats from people who just want to hear. I am about to get in trouble. Let me come to this angle right here so I can. Y'all know I'm a Christian, right? Y'all know I'm a Christian. Okay. And disclaimer, on occasion, my church does this, but I gotta be honest, he doesn't do it. The pastor doesn't do it to get this. I will say, like so my pastor, like on occasion, the congregation will come up and give money on the altar. I have my thoughts about that. But either way, right? So, but this reminds me of how preachers would pander to their audience, and the audience will get up, the congregation will get up and start putting money at the altar for the preacher because they're pandering. Kevin Samuels exploded, right? And he was and watch this. I don't believe he was pandering to men, but the men enjoyed seeing Kevin Samuels go at the women hard so much that they were pouring in the super chats. Fresh and Fit. Oh, I said their names. Dag. The two podcasters, the young podcasters in Miami, they say a whole lot of negative things about women, wanting to discredit women and like bring them down. And those broken men pour in the super chats. I have never watched the Just Pearly Things live. You guys can let me know in the chat, in the comments. Does she get a lot of super chats also? Saying the same talking points as everybody else? Just curious. Oh, you DM me the link. Let me go look this up. Give me a second. The bro just DM me the link. CP, do me a favor. If you can just tell me, he did it 38 minutes ago. Okay. Can you do me a favor? How if you could just put in the chat, how often does he curse in this? Because he does curse a lot. I don't want to play it if he curses a lot, but I will put the let me make sure are you a moderator, CP? How are you not moderating for my channel yet? Hold on. All right, CP. I just added you as a moderator. If you can drop that link also in the chat, It's edited. All right, so we'll play this real quick. We're gonna play this video. Thank you so much, CP, for playing it. Please, I hope there's not like a lot of cursing in this, man. Because oh, so she don't make that much. $78 to $250 a month. Is that in super chats or is that 7,800? All right, so let's play. Bro, please, I'm trusting you, CP. I'm trusting you. All right. Let me see if I can play this video real quick. Let me hide this and then get this video up. Let me see what Mediocre Tutorial Reviews has to say about this. Holding just pearly things accountable. I'm gonna play it at 1.25 speed because I'm not sure how he responds to everybody else's video. So she makes $79,000 to $150,000 a month. A month. I'm doing like content that helps men and women, and I get $78 a month. Come on. Come on. Dag, man. And I'm a man. I'm a man. So I get $78 a month from you people, which I appreciate. Let's be here. I got a good job, make a good salary. But yeah, so I'm gonna play this real quick. And CP, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you, bro. All right. Let's see what MTR has to say.
I wish you luck, and I don't.
Wow.
I really don't. I don't wish luck to racists.
Oh, I'm not racist.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Nick.
Yeah, I am a little bit racist.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
So this is I guess she's on a platform with Nick Fuentes, and woo. All right, MTR.
Oh, hey, the Italian.
No, I gotta change up my thumbnail. All right, I should do that while this plays, right? If I could put him on the thumbnail, people come and watch.
Don't claim you. You're the one dating a black guy.
CP, what? Yeah, I'm gonna leave this up. Okay, CP, thank you. I'm gonna leave it. Thank you for putting that. Disclaimer.
Danger.
There's gonna be some triggering stuff in this video. I already know. But just understand the context. Toxicity is profitable. The reason why they have these kind of spaces and they talk about these kinds of things is because it's profitable. So I'm not playing this to profit off of it. I want to show you guys what people are giving money to.
Danger.
So as Ruslan would say, hide your wives, hide your kids, and all that stuff. All right. So let's go. Wait, he proposed to her and he said no? Wait, context, please. Context this. All right. Please. All right, let's keep playing. All right,
I'm not going to beat around the bush for this conversation. I'm going to get straight to the point. Pearl, you f***ed up. You knowingly invited.
Thank you. He muted the bad words. All right, thank you, CP. All right, thank you.
A white supremacist and a self-proclaimed racist onto a platform which is primarily supported by, at least initially, and produced by black people. This comes across as insensitive to downright nasty. And I want to be clear, it's not just inviting said person to the conversation that's upsetting, because conversations with people who don't agree with each other or don't agree with a particular position, if done in a healthy way, can promote civil discourse. But your up was to not only not defend the people who help create the content on your platform, but to also push a narrative that is insensitive and damaging to those very same people. Pearl, you know that your staff is mostly black people. And I'm talking about from a production perspective.
I'm going to pause it because I don't want him like hitting me up in a coffee pop, right? You guys listening? You guys are listening? Yes, he did play a part in letting her. Yeah. He was definitely on her platform too. Yeah. And in his initial response to it, it seemed like he was defending her and coming off soft. And this could be the case. It could be the case, but he got a lot of heat from his community. He came off very soft. And in order for him not to lose subscribers, he had to come in a little bit harder, which most people tend to do. Let's continue.
As well as a talent perspective. You also know that the majority of your content utilizes Black people talking about Black relationship issues. You could have had.
And that's another thing, right? When you have a moderator who is not of the community getting two people of the community talking about the ills of the community, right? That's for entertainment purpose. This, you know what that is? It's modern day. It's you know how back in the day, right? Historical documents, noted that slave masters would take the alpha, Black slave of one plantation and put them in against the alpha Black slave in another plantation, have them fight while the white masters would watch and bet on it. Yeah, it's sort of like that. It's sort of like that. Not as severe, but at the root of it, it's sort of like that. When you have somebody outside the community, like who's the dude from Cleveland? He was the mayor, Jerry Springer, right? They all did it. And they profited off of the hurt. They use African Americans who support them as minstrels. And they people are entertained by it. And they're profiting over it. Much like hip hop music, where those executives who are not of the community are funding music that encourages people in the community to kill each other or to R-word each other, call each other B's and H's and 304s and N-words. They fund that, and we support it. Let's continue.
Had Black people sitting in the same room with this person in order to combat some of the hellacious things that was coming out of his mouth, or to have.
And if you haven't liked the video yet, please like the video. Greatly appreciate it. We have a few of you guys watching. Hit that like button. It will help the YouTube algorithm share this video out. And if you would like to join the conversation, I have the number and the link pinned in the comment section if you guys would like to join. And also, if you would like to just leave a comment down below, if you're watching the replay, let us know what you think. I would greatly appreciate your addition to this conversation and this content.
A different perspective that would have lent itself well to demonstrate the respect for the people that watch your content. And
I can't front. The brother's a good communicator. The boy can talk. The brother can talk.
That you employ. I don't think that your platform would be as big as what it is today if it wasn't for the essential.
It's not a matter of thinking. We know that it would not be as big. Would not.
Utilization of Black people, Black relationship topics, and Black talent. And the talent came from all over. When you include the likes of an Andrew Tate, all the way down to a Brittany Renner. And even from a content creator perspective, from me to a Melanie King, to a Sarah Garvey, to a King Riches, to an Auntie Jenny. So for those just unaware of what's been going on, Pearl has recently come under fire for these particular comments.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America, my Africans. Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
They're gonna be in trouble. This sounds similar to.
And when you refer to my Africans, like when you refer to a genre as yours, like my Africans or I have students, I call them my students, right? I have students of all different races and ethnicities and backgrounds. I'm not saying that's my Italian student. That's my, Nigerian, like that. Why do certain genres, why do certain demographics feel the need to refer to people as that? It's not endearing to say my Africans, because it's possessive, as if we belong to you or they belong to you. So that's problematic also.
To the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do, is they embellish. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible, it was,
right,
but they want to make it like more.
So this is a replay of what I showed you guys, but
more horrible.
He's going to commentate on it
so that they can control people.
Now what's crazy is that I came across these comments while I was live streaming a couple of days ago. And what started out as a laughy, jokey live stream where I wanted to talk about my time up in London quickly diverted to one of the worst live streams that I've ever had in my life. And honestly, it was a trip to hell as I discovered the magnitude of the conversation that she had with this figure by the name of Nick Fuentes. Specific to the comments regarding slavery being embellished, I said this on the stream and I maintain it today that Pearl needs to be held responsible for this comment, likening a quote from the writer of Roots explaining a myth for his people to hold on to does not negate the documented history of the atrocities that happened to Black people. And I'd argue that Roots was a light depiction of the savagery that my forefathers had to go through to ensure that I would be here today. But let me explain.
And just to give you guys also, I was alive. What was I alive? No, I wasn't. But I remember watching Roots, right? Understand this. This is how, and back in the 80s, I remember it aired on TV in the 80s. I think it did that. And I remember Shaka Zulu watching that. It would never have aired on television, right? If it was not a light depiction of what was actually happening. Ever. A demographic who owned the media does not want content, right, that makes the people who own the media look bad. It's just illogical to think so.
A little bit further, how thoroughly that this actually is, because for me, it comes down to a question of ethics. You're interviewing a known Nazi sympathizer and an anti-Black creator and not offering any pushbacks whatsoever. And in fact,
great point, MTR. Great point. So what was the purpose of having him on the show other if you're not going to give him pushback on his talking points? Because the one when he talked about how he doesn't agree with everything that happened in the Holocaust that was depicted, right? Instead of giving him pushback, she actually agreed by saying, yeah, just like the Blacks who embellish, and I'm, paraphrasing, embellish the events of slavery. It wasn't, I'm not saying that it wasn't horrible, but it may not have been as horrible as they depict it to be. It tends to show who she really is and what she, what she really believes. But again, Chavis is right. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
You're adding in your own fake news regarding the embellishment or the exaggeration of slavery. Additionally, there are times within the conversation where it's laughy, it's jokey, it's kikiing, especially when you got specific in certain comments that reflected on CP time. And let me also say this, is that generally CP time is something that's laughed amongst people of melanation, but it's not taken as a joke when you're doing it with a person who is a self-proclaimed racist.
So I will say this, right? I was an assistant pastor at a church for over 10 years. And on occasion, we would do weddings and funerals and different events for those in our African community, right? And it's not a disrespect, but it's a cultural thing where they're accustomed to having, when they do events, their events are days long. When they have weddings, their weddings are days long. A good friend of mine got married and he didn't even invite me. All right. He knows who he is. If you watch this, you know who you are. He got married in Nigeria. I didn't even get an invite. Back then, I probably couldn't afford to go. But I didn't even get the invite. But it was like a 7-day, something like that, 7-day long celebration, right? And certain communities are accustomed to those 7-day long celebrations. So when they come to a place like America where we're so accustomed to being on time for certain things, they will get to certain places really late. And I remember having to be at churches for funerals up to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because their services were very long. It'll start at 6 p.m. and wouldn't end until the wee hours of the night. And we're trying to leave. We can't leave, but we don't want to be disrespectful to the family, so we stay. The church also had a policy that if you are 45, if we have a wedding, and this wedding starts at like 3 o'clock, and you give a deposit, after the 45 minutes, we're asking everybody to leave, and we're closing the doors. And that goes for everybody, everybody. And it wasn't because of like there are certain of people of different cultures who came late. Okay, and the pastor was Italian. He knew when they came late. Didn't matter who you were. We were asking you guys politely to leave. We'll do a quick signing outside of the certificate, and you can go on to your reception. Like that's what it is, right? That's what happens. But America, we value time. I'm the same. Like I got to be on time for everything. If I'm on time, I'm already late. Like if I have an appointment at 5 o'clock, I'm there at like 4:15, sitting in my car waiting. But that's just me. But what I'm not going to do is talk about like negatively and make fun of somebody else's culture because they may be late on occasion, like, or they're known for being late, and then point out to somebody in my that helps fund me. I make fun of them like that in front of.
Now that I've had the opportunity to digest all of the information, now that I'm not on live streams with thousands of people looking at me, in the back of my mind, thinking towards the tens of thousands that are waiting for the perfect reaction from me, I begin to question why you didn't sympathize with the plight of African Americans or black people in general. And not once in the interview did you have at least one pro-black stance or some form of ethical defense or cultural sensitivity for the people who carry your production machine forward or the people that you know that watch your channel.
And the problem also is this: when people have become dependent on her, they won't say anything. They won't say anything. Like, will her people, the people she employed in her podcast, will they now start saying, listen, I need to leave. I got to go. And the thing is, if they do that, she knows that she probably has a platform with people like Ben Shapiro and others of the sort. So this is not the end for her. But what she does now will show and prove what she really feels about the people that have helped her get to where she is today.
That's questionable at the very least, and it shows to me a degree of misguided that you are regarding our culture and that you have some introspection to do, and you have to find a newfound respect for understanding more about the people that work for you or who a component of the content is made for. The embellishment of slavery is where you display the true level of your insensitivity and lack of understanding about the culture that you have immersed yourself in, whether you like it or not. Pearl, at the end of the day, you're f***ed up. I completely, as I said on that stream, denounce your statements. And I believe that you need to be held completely accountable for your words and your actions. And I want you to do it for the sake of my history, for the sake of my community, for the sake of my audience, and the people who have followed me and will continue to follow me, Pearl. The people that found you through my channel. Because
I wonder if he's lost subscribers because of what he didn't say, which is causing him to do this now. But I'm glad he's doing it now regardless.
Because of these actions, and Pearl, we had a one-on-one conversation before I recorded this video, and I told you I can no longer work with you. We had a dating show that was in the pipeline, and I was super excited about releasing this content on your platform. And then
so I'll be honest, I think that's premature. I think he should have waited. Unless what they talked about in this conversation, right, gave him the closure to be able to take this stance. But there are some people who say things that just may need to be educated at a specific moment. But if he's going to be, and I think he's doing this for you guys, for the audience. I'm not sure if he's doing this because he really believes that. We have to think level-headed and logically about things like this when people have mishaps with the words, and do more investigation and give them time to see what they do afterwards, because she can come out with an apology, make stances, make certain fixes, all right, make certain reparations, right, to her people, and we'll see. But I think him cutting all ties and business opportunities for the near future or however long is a little premature. I believe that he's got to see what she does after this and then make that decision. But I think him coming out right now and saying this is really just to cater to his audience, and which is smart. That's his bread and butter. So I get it.
And cutting it up and putting it up on my platform and reacting to it. We did great content up there. But along with these statements that have come up, I no longer feel comfortable in having.
Yo, and if you're watching now and you haven't liked the video yet, please do me a favor and like the video. And if you're not subscribed, join the Harrison Extended family by subscribing to the channel now.
Having that dating show footage released along with the other content that was recorded up there onto your platform. I plan in the future not to release more content up onto the channel regarding my time in London. And to be honest, frankly, it really sucks because I had a lot that I wanted to be able to speak about. And again, to my community, to my audience, to the people who have followed me and will continue to follow me into the future, I have to take personal accountability for my working relationship with Pearl. And trust me when I say I take full ownership and full accountability. I had absolutely no idea of the comments that were made in the Nick Fuentes interview. And had I known this prior to, I would not have gone to London.
So again, I mentioned before, what's going on, Cool as Ice? I'm not sure at what point you came into the conversation, but I mentioned that when you allow people to come into the space, they see dollar signs and they take and regurgitate talking points from others, and they know they're very different, so people will listen to them, and they regurgitate those talking points in order to capitalize and monopolize on people's hurt. Yeah. And I think he may have contributed to just pretty things, monopolizing and getting profit from men's hurt. And what's going on, Jerry from Cincinnati? Shout out we got Cincinnati in the house. What's going on? And we got Gracious Greatness, who is from the UK, who understands fully what we're talking about.
I did not know about this until I came back, and then I went and did a live stream, and then my supporters let me know. For everyone else out there who's ever supported the platform and sent super chats, and for everyone who has been affected by this situation, like I said, I take full accountability. For those of you guys that have followed my platform for a long time, do understand that I've selected, at least I thought I've selected, with a fine-tooth comb who I have chosen to work with. If you guys already know, it hasn't been a lot of people, okay? I've also...
And that's the thing. He doesn't do a lot with a lot of people, right? Doesn't. And I mean, I guess there may be a level of discernment there, right? Like when she first got big, and I was watching that video with Hafiz, and my first question was, well, why is she here? Like, what is she in this space for? And what is she trying to do? Because she has all the quote unquote right talking points. But my thought was like, what is her end game? And I'm hoping that MTR goes into every future relationship with that in mind. Like, what's your end game? Okay, our end game is the same. Let's collaborate. Not you have, because here's the thing. I'm gonna say this, and MTR, no disrespect. Okay, I could be wrong, but I see that she was a smaller YouTuber than he was, and she grew in the past 8 months. Crazy, like grew a lot. And this was an opportunity for him to be exposed to her subscribers and gain some subscribers, which is why I think he did what he did by connecting with her, because he saw people and money at the onset, not the end game. We have to go into, especially if you're in a space like the Manosphere or Red Pill, where you're trying to really level up men, you need to identify what's the end goal for the people that you are collaborating with, and then choose whether or not to collaborate them based on shared goals, not just money. And it's hard to do that because we are all driven by money, aren't we? So we want the dollar signs.
We'll have a no beef policy on my platform because I think it does us no good to continue to promote fights and spats. I'm all about delivering value at the end of the day. But as a man in this space, I got to take full ownership and full accountability.
Dope. All right. And we got a question. Alex Ika, hope I said that right. What's going on? Thank you so much for being here. So should we be sensitive to the Black American demographic, but not be sensitive to other demographics that have been made fun of, dehumanized, and demeaned? See, now I agree with you. Like, no, I don't laugh. If this is me personally, I don't laugh at I try not to laugh at the account of anybody's, detriment. Like I try not to engage in conversations that may be joke filled about any demographic of people. I think we all need to be sensitive about what we laugh at and what we say and what we believe. Okay. Everybody is sensitive about their own. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Everybody is sensitive about their own. Everybody. But will be willing to joke at and make fun of at the expense of others. I disagree with all of it. I disagree with all of it. And it does dehumanize and it does demean. And again, enough of it will cause one, the demographic who's making fun of, feel better than the demographic who is being made fun of. I don't like any of it. And that's just me personally. I think as a society, we would do better with that. But here's the thing. Let's say that you aren't that sensitive, okay? And you make jokes about other demographics. Then you can't get mad if people make jokes about yours in your presence. You just can't get mad. You got to think of it. You can't be sensitive. If you're insensitive about others, you can't be sensitive about your own. And that's just the balance and the logical perspective of that. So no one is dismissing the struggles of other groups, but for this conversation, only one group was disrespected by Pearlie and Nick Fuentes. Agreed. And it was a group that provides the predominant amount of funding for her channel and content for her channel, because it would be mainly our Black community that would be doing the very thing that we are sensitive about. Like what in particular? Because it wasn't just the late comment that she said. It was also about her belief about Blacks embellishing what happened in slavery and disregarding the documented accounts of what happened. So, but back to what I was saying again, and just in response to this, if you can make fun of somebody else's demographic, you can't be sensitive if somebody makes fun of yours. But on the flip side, don't be going around making fun of people groups. Just don't, because people are sensitive about it. Just don't. We live in a world we tell people got to be less sensitive. No, people got to be less disrespectful. And people got to be less sensitive. Like it's got to be both. All right. What's my Cash App, bro? I haven't. Thank you. I'll put it in the chat for you. Let me see if it comes up. I'm not sure if it'll come up. It should come up. If it doesn't come up, I'll put it there. But yeah. I think I used to have it on my there's that, and there's hold on. Cash App is there you go. Yeah, so that's the point. But I understand what you're saying. I really do understand what you're saying. But if we just need to be less disrespectful and less sensitive at the same time. All right, but let's continue to see what else he's saying here.
Along with my accountability, this is now my definitive stance. I can no longer support or associate myself.
Now, this is also somebody who's accountable to his audience, which I also could respect. We can see that Just Pearly Things is not accountable to her audience. And she proved that by what she said. She did prove that by what she said. Here's a man, MTR, who's accountable by his audience. And here's the thing. Whenever money is involved and you start losing supporters and funders, you're going to be held accountable quick. So, yeah.
With the Just Pearly Things platform. And for those who still wish to continue to support voices of women that are down into the space who agree with the particular message that we put up on Jump Street, I want you guys to go check out and follow the following female content.
Oh, he went that far? He was like, listen, I don't want you guys, and without saying it, don't support Just Pearly Things. Instead, support these. I don't know who these content creators are, so I cannot necessarily show who they are, so I won't. So I'm going to stop the video here. But I think, MTR did a good job in fixing up what he was saying in the live stream the other day. He shout out to CP the artist. He sent me the link of the live stream a little bit and gave me even a timestamp, so I was able to watch exactly. No, actually, no, I watched the whole live stream, to be honest with you. And this is a very good. I don't want to say band-aid. I think he's trying to fix everything up. This was a good response for it. Yeah, so it was a good response. So I appreciate his response 100%. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Manosphere 4.0. If you got, and again, I firmly believe in why the Manosphere exists, why we have the subgenres, because there are certain, not every male will have the same problem. Not everybody. And I understand that. But so because some people have the same problem, you're going to have subgenres that exist within an umbrella movement. I get it. But we got to be selective in who we allow to come into any space, for that matter, and identify the motives. Like, what is your end goal here? How are you actually going to help? Are you just here to talk about the problem, or do you have actual plan of action that will help us improve? Because if you don't want to help us improve and you just want to make money off of talking about the talking points that all trigger us, bye. We don't need you here anymore. We don't need you here at all. Go that way and keep walking. Keep go. We don't need you here. That's how it needs to be. What's your end goal? And we got to be a demographic. Men got to be the people that's, don't just, fall and start drooling over people who tell us what we want to hear. And it's like, oh, wow, somebody who doesn't look like us knows what we go through. And she just proved that she has no clue what you guys actually go through. She just knows the talking points. And she'll say those talking points and make money off of it. She looks at KS, who made a lot of money doing what he did. The two young men in Miami who have a podcast who make a lot of money doing what they do. You know what? I can make a lot of money doing what they do too. And I don't look like them. I can come in, make all the money I want, drop some bombs, tear up the community, and leave. Understand this with talking points and with data. With each talking points, which each data point that you guys reference in these spaces, there are variables that added to that. And as I mentioned earlier in the stream, the work that I do actually provide you guys with the data that you guys use in your talking points. I understand the variables that create the data, the problems that individuals go through that provide the general data that people have talking points for. So when people come to me and say, well, the data says this, okay, the data really doesn't say anything. It just tells you what the general populace of what people have gone through in a specific thing, but not the variables that cause each one to go through that thing. Like divorce, like the numbers about divorce. What were the reasons behind it? How many going through those specific things for those reasons, and so on and so forth. So yeah, man. Yes, thank you. Like and share the stream for real. Oh, Nana, I'm glad that you're here. So it's been a minute, man. I'm glad that you're here. All right. They used to co-sign her. Now they seem to be distancing themselves. Yeah. Yeah. And I think they need to. They need to, because time will tell. But the Bible does say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if what we tend to say first is what we really mean. And it is what it is. Anyone who listened to Pearl for more than 2 seconds would have seen that she only spew out red pill talking points without any depth. And the depth is important, fam. The depth is important, because the depth is what causes you to come up with those talking points. Which is, again, why I don't really rock with the two young men who do the podcast in Miami. They are successful. they developed a very good business down there, but there's no context for the talking points outside of their actual echo chambers. So, um, yeah. So, and I say that like, as a counselor, I look at data and then I analyze the data and find the reasons why the data exists in the first place. I don't just, the data says this. So, yeah. Why say the MTR do you think so? There's a reason why. Because we don't know what she's going to be doing after this. She could really be sorry for what she says and do the work of making sure that she's she fixes this and become educated and really change. I believe that everybody has a capacity to change. That's why I think it may have been a little premature, but that's only based off of him doing it for the audience. If he's doing it based on the conversation that he had with her, the private conversation he had before he went and posted this video, then by all means, it's not premature. I'm just saying it may be, not that it is. All right. I don't know the context of the conversation they had, so I can't say for sure if it was premature. But if he's doing it just because the audience was like, "Yo, you can't rock with her no more," he's got to do it for his audience. But to say that there will be no dealings in the future, that might be premature because she could really be apologetic about it. So, yeah, even if she's apologetic, I'm not going to give her any views. That's just me. But yeah, I think everybody deserves a chance to show redemption if possible. And then maybe that's just a Christian in me that I believe everybody has the ability to be forgiven for any wrong that they do. Pearl just regurgitating what she crammed and heard from others as if she studied, for an exam. Exactly. I agree. One of the reasons why the Manosphere sector had promoted Pearlie was because Kevin Samuels used to promote her as well. I hope they learned their lesson. Yeah. Yeah. A word. I know they're putting her on blast, but I didn't know they rocked with her before. See, I didn't know that either. Yeah. Yeah. I got a good point. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. It's time again. I agree with the premise of why we need the Manosphere, the red pill, and all that. We need it, but the outcomes have to be clearly defined. We have people coming in, seeing an opportunity to make money off from the wallets of those who are hurting in this space, and people in this space are looking to come in for help. But what could be deemed as help is just pandering to people's hurt. For instance, if I'm a divorcee, I've been divorced, right? And if I become bitter about my divorce and somebody in YouTube is making me feel good about my bitterness by bashing women who divorce men, I'm going to eat it up and give money to them because they're making me feel good, but they're making money off of my hurt and not my healing. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Thank you, sis. Glad you were here. Thanks for informing us about what's going on in this topic YouTube streets. Yes. Nothing but truth, bro. Thank you very much. Yes, they did. Their videos are still up. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, I do appreciate you guys for watching this video with me. If you're watching the replay, I greatly appreciate it also. And thank you for everybody that have been engaged in the chat. Leave a comment down below. What do you guys think? And I did a poll and I haven't even hold on. So let's see the results of the poll. Let me end the poll and let's see the results. If it shows me the results, it's not going to show me the results. Where are you? Where are the results at? Nah, it's not showing me the results. I should have saw the results before I ended the poll. Struggle streaming at its finest. Thank you so much, TKC. I greatly appreciate you being here too, man. But listen, let's level up in all ways, and let's set up gatekeepers in the space. Let's set up safeguards in the space that would help protect men from being exploited by outsiders who, and I'm not saying she's an outsider because she happens to be a white female. I'm saying she's an outsider because just outsiders in general who just want to exploit. I may have a phone caller. Hold on.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
We got Blaxploitation live in the stream. What's going on, my brother?
I'm doing good, Trey. How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Glad you called in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I had to take the opportunity, you know.
Yeah.
This is kind of a wild story. I mean, I know for a lot of people it's not that big of a deal, but this is the crazy thing, right? Because people have been saying that she's regurgitated things from KS, which is 100% true.
Yeah.
Right? She took allegedly she took a counseling session with him for like a stack, right? A G.
Yeah.
One session with him, but apparently, he told her to keep her nose out of black affairs.
Wow.
In terms of speaking on black issues.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And yeah, so it's been weird. And one of the major things that I don't understand, I never understood, is the fact that she gravitated towards the black manosphere.
Yeah.
Because apparently the white manosphere did not want her.
Got you.
She easily could have settled in there.
Yeah.
But she went towards the black manosphere. You know, her guests are black. Panelists are black, her producer's black. She moved to London because I don't think it would fly like that over here.
Yeah.
But over there, I guess, I don't know. It was a little bit easier, but
so
it's a wild story, man, because you can't tell. This is going to be kind of controversial.
All right.
I've listened to her before.
Yeah.
And she had some points that I know hit a lot of men, especially in the black, obviously in the black manosphere.
Yeah.
It hit us good, right? It made us feel good.
Yeah.
But she always seemed like almost like a Derek Jackson type because she pandered kind of hard.
Yeah.
And you could tell, not to mention, if you ever watched her streams, it's her panel, it's her guests that do all the talking.
Yeah.
She just sometimes throws in some statistics here and there. But she lets her guests do all the talking because I don't think that she was very familiar with, the actual content.
Gotcha.
She would kind of like throw a subject matter out there and then everybody else talks about it and she would probably like take mental notes.
Yeah.
But if you actually saw her with a stream talking to someone else, she had this debate one time with this dude. He had blue hair.
Yeah, I saw that one. Well, I didn't see that one. I saw like the thumbnails of it. Who were responding to it.
He called her out on some things because she's good at like throwing out stats and whatnot.
Yep.
But when you actually get her to actually speak on issues, she has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. And then one of the contradicting things is she throws out stats and she tells her guests, stats matter. You can't argue with data. But then on a stream that she had with, again, that blue hair dude, she's like, I don't use data. I don't like using data because data is, it's contradictory and this, that, and the third. So I saw that.
So if you let her speak, she'll just contradict herself. Like, guys, just let her talk, guys.
She contradicted herself.
Don't even argue with her. Just let her talk.
Stream.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm like, see, this is right there. But I don't know how we allowed, the brothers to just elevate her to this.
Yeah.
She even had this meteoric rise.
Yeah.
They just elevated her so much, and you still.
It wasn't meteoric at all. Like it was exponential.
Yeah. It was something. So I don't know. I really think it's going to be a wake up call for a lot of people within the manosphere, and just people in general to recognize.
Yeah.
I got no issues. It's not a question of just because she's a white woman she doesn't belong.
Yeah.
But we can't just tell ourselves that we're gonna like big her up. And then you got some sisters out there that are speaking to men, and we're kind of like putting them to the wayside, and we're just like, nah, Pearl's the person that we need to big up. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point. I think because she didn't really explode until after Kevin Samuels passed away, and after the interview with Hafiz, or the discussion of Black peace. So Kevin Samuels may have been the gatekeeper there, because if he told her, not to talk about Black issues, then he was actually the gatekeeper while he was still alive, keeping her at bay and saying, "Listen, don't go there. It's not going to go good for you." Dag.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's gonna blow over soon enough. There's still some dudes out there that are gonna say that she did nothing wrong, and she's just after the bag, and it's a business, and this and the third. So,
but there's
unfortunately,
also
the division without a community.
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
No, I mean it's a clear indication that within our own community, like we still got that division where we can't just stand together. It's not even to like cancel her. Yeah. It's just to be like, yo, this was wrong. We need to call out what's wrong.
Yeah.
We got no issues calling out the sisters when they're wrong.
Yeah.
We got no issues calling out the brothers when they're wrong.
Yeah.
But then somehow with her, we're gonna be like, it's just business. It's not a big deal. That's I'm not down with that.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's I don't know if there's any worst case scenario for her, because let's say, for argument's sake, she starts losing subscribers, and her Black male supporter base or Black supporter base starts unsubscribing and stops supporting her. There are so many other platforms that are anti-Black that will pick her up like that. She's already created a name for herself where, no, I could be wrong. Let me say, I'm going to say this, and it may sound mean. She created a name for herself, and that it's apparent that she was able to create a platform. So let's say, this happens, and she loses her base, and she has to pivot. She's going to be able to pivot because there's going to be somebody else, even the same people that would support people like Tommy Lauren, right? Fox, things like that will pick her up and use her in those spaces and hire her to keep talking. It may happen. The problem is this, and I say this with love, and this is one of the reasons why I don't really watch a lot of her content. She's not that engaging and entertaining to me. She's just not. There's not much there that keeps me attached to her. And I see another caller coming through. If you guys just give me 1 second while I finish with Blaxploitation and call right back. I see you 1075. All right, so you can call right back. So yeah, she's not really. You still there, bro? Oh, is this?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. So yeah, she's not really that entertaining to me. So she may get picked up, but unless she picks up her entertainment value, maybe this is just my opinion. This may be. I'm not sure what other people feel. If she doesn't have those same talking points, then she has to actually be entertaining, engaging, and she must show some depth. If she doesn't do that, she may get picked up for a while, but it's only going to be.
Do you really think that she would do this? Do you think that she would actually do the switch up and just flip and go to like this anti-Black community? That's a pretty big.
It's a pretty big one, but she had Nick Fuentes on it, and she shared out in public what she thought about slavery. It could happen. So again, that's why I said time will tell, and what she does after this will show what she really feels. So, and let me get this caller in though. Thanks, bro, for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right. Thanks, man. All right.
Call from.
Oh, they hung up. Hello? If you just called, do me a favor and call right back. All right? All right. No, you just called. I missed your call. I tried to get you. All right. I respectfully disagree to an extent. The white conservative space have already rejected her as a... Okay, got you. So they may not pick her up. Okay. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, so that makes sense. If she's already been rejected there, then she may not be. Yeah. It said Pearl will have a tear-filled apology soon. Yeah, and then people forget it. All right, they're calling again. Let's see.
Call from. To accept, press 1.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm fine. It's Dyson. I like to talk about the situation.
Yeah.
About the park. Well, I got a lot going on in my mind on that, but I'm target that one specific thing. My whole thing is this: why there was no true vetting process to see if she knows what she's talking about or if she's heavily invested. I'm not saying, I'm not gonna be the one to throw judgment or be the person. Oh, I'm automatically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I know some people. They'll tell. Okay, I hate to use.
You said, wait, you said your
example.
name is Tyson, right?
No, Dyson.
D-Y-S-O-N?
No, D-E-I-S-O-N.
D-E-I-S-O-N.
But
Gotcha.
yeah.
Got you.
I'm using an extreme example. When I was in high school, I mean, I said something inappropriate. My teacher happened to not be about, because I mean, I got the detention for that. I mean, I know the whole point was not even not. I say all that to say, she I don't know, you just knew she was not the. Oh yeah, but the first, I guess the first red flag you can call it was the fact that she was exposed for me tooing black dude. You know, and people ran past through that, and then they went in and said, "Oh, you're just hating, you just making bad assumptions." I'm like, but this is a serious thing. I mean, you build cases, build a whole platform saying, you're not cool for guys being me too, and then when this pops up, this was the moment or the time you can sort of call it, to point that out and to not be okay with that. Yeah. But people get passed over it. If you say something, you're bad against the clique. You're a part of the problem. You're a sin. You're this or that. All kinds of things.
Yeah.
But my whole thing, I don't know if you know who Jason Black is. My whole thing is this: why did it took for Jason Black to talk about that? To not all of us. I see that interview when that interview was made, and that was put out. People had questions. People threw on their red flags.
But when Jason Black,
he's right. He was a catalyst. Why they took to that point? But now all people want to say, "Oh, I want to cut ties." It shouldn't take to that point for that to happen.
Yeah, that
was my whole thing. That's what I find suspicious.
Well, let me answer your first question about why don't they do a better vetting process? Because people respond to gimmicks. Okay, people respond.
Oh yeah, and it's not built on, sorry, my bad.
Okay, good. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, I guess I'm gonna answer my own question.
Yeah.
I guess ultimately it's not built on a solid foundation. It's built on. I mean, it's okay. It's okay to do it for money. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But don't act like, don't act like you're therapy. And that's another thing. Don't act like you're a therapy for men. Don't act like this is a safe haven for men. When whole time you're profiting off of trauma for men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what it is.
Agreed.
Don't get it wrong. Right, wrong, right. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But don't with this fake concern. And another thing with O'Shea, he's talking about he's for his people. He represents for black people. But you're preaching rugged individualism. No, I can't hang with you folks. You folks are this. Look, okay, I get the whole. It's one thing. I get it. It's one thing to say, okay, I want to be away from people that look like me. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, if you're on that stance, you're 100% on that stance. But don't be talking about you for people. Whole time you're barely doing little to nothing for your people. In fact, you're exploiting people from other countries in the world.
Yeah, you think that he's doing that?
I'm not saying that. I don't want but more likely than not, that's what it's. I mean, shoot, why hire people around your country when you can get people out of your country for pennies on the dollar?
Yeah.
No, and not only for pennies on the dollar, not barely even compensate them.
Yeah. Well, I think. I'm not here to defend O'Shea. I know that like a couple of years ago, I really couldn't rock with his content. I think he has.
No, every live stream, he would cuss them out, calling them. There's a problem with you. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, you okay?
Really? You're right. I did hear. Yeah, you're right. I have heard. Yeah, I did hear that.
Every single one of his live streams.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a hard time. You have to find reactions. The only way you can see his live stream is the reaction of, not only that, he'll have people's channels take it down.
Really?
Yeah.
If that's true, yeah. Dag, man, if that's true, yeah.
It's
Dag. But you know what?
It's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I've heard him go off on people in a live stream, which I think, that's something that he may need to polish as well. But it's hard. Like me, I have a very small YouTube channel. Like I can't even I don't have access to him to even say, oh, bro, like, yo, what's going on? But yeah, if that's the case,
YouTube.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but now YouTube. Yeah, I'm sorry, but now YouTube. I should have let you talk. But now YouTube. Don't let people just get flagged just to get flagged. Now it's a lot harder to flag. You have to get yourself flagged on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now he polished this platform a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But ever since my thing is ever since he grew exponentially in numbers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now he's not doing all that extra stuff. Now he's doing that. And I'll even go as far as this. Since Kevin Samuel was there, he was not even talking to him but that's a whole nother conversation. The whole topic is about Miss Pearly.
Yeah. Got you. Yeah, man. That's deep. But I appreciate your call and adding to the conversation, bro.
Oh yeah. There's one more thing I want to say. Shoot, what just happened? I hate to even say it, but what just happened this week? I believe it had to happen this week. What exactly happened this week and how it played out? It just shows weakness.
Yeah.
You don't even have the. I'll go as far as I'm not saying go above beyond to show how stronger, but you don't have the strength, the fortitude, the strength to we're not. This is not what we're about to bring as a Manosphere. You couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
Like I just see silence, dead silence, and not only that, it took a whole consecrator such as Jason Black to now. Yeah, it took for him to now all of a sudden. That's weakness right there. That's not strength.
Yeah, and
that's not the same.
I think the reason why is because wasn't that interview wasn't on YouTube. That was like in a private server, right?
I think it was on. No, it was on YouTube.
It was. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree. And I think, again, at the end of the day, the outcomes. What do you really want to do? Do you want to really help men? If that's the case, let's help men. That means that if people disagree with us, we got to respectfully disagree, state our points clearly, and not just be like, because you're right about O'Shea. I think I watched his live stream the other day for a little bit, and I got to be honest, I did have to stop because he was doing that. I stopped at the moment where he was like coming at people in the chat. But you were right. Yeah, he definitely did that. Yeah. But I appreciate your comments, man, and adding to the conversation, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Anytime.
All right, bro. Be safe.
Will do.
Shout out to both Blaxploitation and Dyson for calling in. And we're going to be doing this all the time. So whenever we have a conversation, the number will be there for you to call, or you can click the link and join the discussion that way as well. If you want to cam up, or even if you don't want to cam up, you can click the link and keep your camera off as long as I see your face first, so that I know you're a real person. Because you know how people be on YouTube, right? They want to be like, faceless, and they want to come at you in the comment section. And those are my favorite people. I'll be honest with you, because I come back at them with all their nasty comments. So I love it. I do. I gotta be honest with you. But guys, thank you guys so much. Oh, I do want to hold on. Do you remember when O'Shea declared himself king of the Black Manosphere? So I remember this was a couple of years ago, right? It wasn't that recent. And I think he was going through a power struggle because he felt like he was at a space where, he did recently say that he was a gatekeeper of the Black Manosphere. Like everybody that has gotten big has been connected with him in some way, form, or fashion. He did say that, not verbatim, but I'm paraphrasing, but he did say that to an extent. But I got to be honest with you. Over the years of me watching his content, he has matured a lot. But there's growth there. But yeah, he definitely got to stop that whole coming at people in a live stream with all that hostility. Because again, let's be honest, if you're watching this, O'Shea, if a woman was to come at you with that same kind of energy, you'd be like, look at you, you're getting all emotional, you're not acting logical. So we got to be completely consistent in that area. Yanni is cool compared to Cynthia G. Oh, I promise never to say that woman's name on my channel. And there you go, Chavis, writing her name, making me read it. Neither of these I support, and I told myself I will never say their names. I've done videos about content that they said, but I won't say their names on my channel because I don't want any connection with them at all, until they invite me onto a live stream to have a conversation with them. That's the only connection. But I am not talking about them at all on my channel. They get no shine over here, even though they're way bigger than me. Just they won't get any shine here. Those who would love to see all black men extinct. Yeah, so I don't talk about them at all. After that comment about the extraction of black baby before they're born, got me. And I was like, I don't understand how anybody can say anything like that and not be banned on a platform. Yeah, a man can never say anything of the sort ever, and we wouldn't, because we understand that we need women to survive. We know that. Lastly, you need to align with the whole divine feminine, and some of the mysticism practices of this day. Therefore, I don't think Yanni's perspective aren't impartial. Okay, got you. Yeah, it was 1 or 2 years ago. Yeah. I remember him saying that. Yeah. All right, let me go back. I'm trying to end this. O'Shea goes on about how productive you are. Are you producing, talented, etc.? Yeah. And let me get this off. But yeah, at the end of the day, back to just Pearly. We'll see what happens from this. We'll see what happens from this. But as Dyson was saying before, men need to do a better vetting process on who we get our information from. And one of the things that is non-negotiable in the vetting process is identifying the outcomes. What are their end goals? What is it? Okay. Because there's what's that? Jason. Hold on. What's his name? Let's see if I know his name. Jason. Jason Wilson. Is that his name? Men like him aren't platform much, and he should be.
One. To send a voicemail, press 2.
I'm definitely accepting this one. Brother Chavis, what's going on?
What's going on, partner? How you doing?
Doing well. I know you about to don't get me banned on YouTube, bro. Go ahead. What do you got to say? What do you got to say?
I'll try not to. And I want to apologize. I was responding in the comments about those certain two. I won't say the name out of respect to your channel, but
so like
those certain two.
Yeah, after like I don't mind having disagreements with people, even strong disagreements. That statement she said about the
removing children,
yes, was extreme. And at that point, I said I will never say her name on this channel ever. Even if she could post the most heinous thing, I'll talk about the heinous thing, but I won't. I don't want my channel to grow based off of anything that she says at all.
I'm with you. I am with you, and it just shows like her. And the other lady I mentioned, I'll just say her initials PM. I mean, I already typed it on there.
Yeah, I know you did, but I had me read it.
I apologize.
That's cool, bro. I know.
This is the thing. You know me, and right before I took my super extended hiatus after Time to Detox 4, I've been addressing these things in the gender war because it's like, whether it's the manosphere or whether what's going on with PM and the other lady you don't want to talk about, it's toxic. They're both two sides of the same coin. They're both two sides of the same toxic coin.
Agreed.
And they're making coin while being both sides of the same coin. They're both about their money.
Yep.
It's money bad for them. It's like, wait a minute, while y'all talking all men are this, all women are that, all black women are this, all black men are that, whatever, what does this do for our community?
Exactly.
Not a dang thing. What does this do? Especially, I know they're not saved. Many of them aren't.
Yeah.
But this is what made me jump in the fight, because if you don't mind me saying this quick, because I know you got to go.
Yeah, good.
There was a guy whose wife hit me and my wife up personally on a DM because her husband started consuming the content. And he went from being a loving husband to saying the same talking points, what's your dress size, who you are, what you look like. I mean, he started talking just like the Daily Departed Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Which I'm not slamming him for it, but he started talking like them, like the two guys from Miami, like O'Shea.
I won't say their names.
Fell apart.
Yeah.
The whole marriage fell apart because he started consuming more and more red pill content. He went from being a loving husband to talking so bad about his wife. His wife left, and his child barely has contact with him because she don't like it either.
Yeah.
And that's what made me jump in. I'm like, wait a minute, Christian men are taking this in like this is the gospel. Time out. As a watchman of the Lord, I can't take that. I gotta warn y'all.
But you know why also? Because a lot of their talking points they claim is from the Bible. So they claim it's from the Bible. So the problem is when you twist it, because again, they use the Bible to tell women what they need to do. But if you was to internalize what the Bible says about what men need to do, you start seeing you have a lot of responsibility to be who you're supposed to be if you have that same expectation on women being a certain way. It's just balance, people. It's balance. So if I'm gonna use the Bible to say women are supposed to be submissive, before I do that, I'm going to use the Bible to make sure that I'm a good provider for my family.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a good provider,
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make a point too. Go ahead, bro.
So if I'm a good provider for my family from the jump, and then I say, I expect you to be submissive to me as a loving wife, not that I'm going to be dominant over you and domineering and control you to that extent. Just trust me that my decisions is for the best interest of the family. Submit to that. Then you expect those things. Off the rip, you're telling women they need to be submissive and be traditional while you're trying to go out there and play. So I think it's all balance. It's all balance. If we really want to help our communities, we want to see relationships flourish, we have to be introspective, right? We have to be self-accountable and make changes that we need to make, as well as also expecting others to make those changes as well. Because I'm not going to be out there telling people you need to change this so that you can have what you want in a man, and then tell men, just do whatever you want, have them change, and then you can just live in your tyrannical relationships and nobody's happy. So I'm not about that.
At all. I mean, first of all, can we get the cash out going? Because we need to pass him the plate because he's preaching. There's the truth right there. Now,
appreciate that.
I tell people, I've said this in the live stream before. Before Adam got Eve, God gave Adam responsibilities. God gave Adam things that he had to do that God required of him. I said this in another live stream, and you just hit on it. You want a woman to be submissive, but that means she's willing to be led. But where are you leading her to, sir?
Yeah, true.
Where is she going?
True. And Jay, let me respond to this comment real quick. Let me respond to this comment real quick. Good question. It says, but what if you make your money by being a hitman? Providing isn't the be-all, end-all of being a good husband. So I'm referring to it being from a biblical perspective. You're providing from a biblical perspective. If you're using the Bible as a means of an argument to somebody else, you got to apply it to yourself. The Bible says that a man who does not provide for his household is worse than an unbeliever. So at the core, provision is essential to be a good husband. That's non-negotiable. To be a good husband, you must be a good provider for your family. Otherwise, the Bible says that you need to be treated worse than an unbeliever. However, to be consistent with the Bible, you cannot do what's immoral in order to be a good provider. So I definitely understand the question, and I get it. You're absolutely right. You know, you're not if you're trying to be a biblical provider because you're telling women to be biblically submissive to their leadership, you can't be a biblical provider while doing something that's unbiblical.
Ding. Amen.
Sorry, Shavis. Go ahead, bro. Hey, G Joe, what's going on, sis? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. This show, bro. I am not gonna object.
Yeah.
It's when I see people try to, and I remember where we were bringing up MTR. I still remember a picture that he has, and it was in mockery, but I pray that he comes to Christ about it. Where's the picture whenever he's talking about those who are looking bad in the body of Christ, holding up a picture of himself, superimposed, holding the Bible saying, y'all need Jesus. And I've seen many of folks in the Manosphere space somehow mocking God.
Yeah.
That's another topic that I'm going to cover soon enough. The dangers of mocking God.
Yeah.
You're playing with fire. That's going to come up real soon.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the gender war, first of all, we know is not the author of our faith. It's the author of confusion that created the gender war.
Yeah.
Because when God created man and woman, he said it plain and simple in the word. It's not good for man to be alone. I shall make him a helpmeet. And yet the gender war has done so much devastation. I see both sides of the gender saying, I don't want to get married. I want to live a child-free, single life. And I'm saying, wait a minute. Unless you were born a eunuch, there's no way possible, because you're going to still have those desires to go out there and, for the sake of your YouTube, have relations. You're still going to want that.
Yeah. True.
How are you going to fight those urges unless you ask God to take them from you?
Yeah.
Because you still going to have that desire. People say they don't want to get married. They don't want to get married because you can get finessed. Yes, you can be finessed if you're looking from lust and not from the Lord.
Yes, that's a good point. Because again, the Manosphere does attempt at helping men not to get finesse. They do. Like the red pill space, they do. But it's what you're looking for. Again, at the end, at its core, what are your outcomes? What's your end goal? That's actually think about the end in mind. Right? It's one of the 7 laws of Covey. Think of the end, have the end in mind. Like, what is it that you want to accomplish? If I'm engaging with you and trying to identify a relationship, what do I want to accomplish? And then you have to identify what that person's end goal is. Is it to smash?
Yeah.
Is it to have a financier? You got to be able to understand that. Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be about the end and not her rear end, if you get what I mean.
Facts. And I also got to listen. I hear you, bro. Yeah.
Because you can have a 36, 24, 36, but her soul says 666, plain and simple.
Listen, you and Chelsea with these one-liners. You guys got bars for days.
Glory to the Lord. I mean, I have to quote Tony Gaskell, and I'm saying it for the women too that's watching it. Every time I think of this subject, Tony Gaskell hits my head. You want a man that's 6 foot, have 6 figures, and have a 6-pack, you may be careful because you got a devil on your hands. Because again, you are looking from a lustful standpoint. You want to do that's tall or whatever. You want to do that looks like this and that. Does this man look like how God wants him to look on the inside?
Yeah. Yep.
You can have a man that looks like Michael B. Jordan on the outside, but his soul looks like a demon.
Yeah. And again,
you can have a woman that looks like Warren Harvey on the outside, but on the inside, she looks like the worst devil you'll ever meet in your life.
Yeah. Again, God chose people whose heart was right, not based off of what they look for. And whenever you, again, and this is just to my sisters out there, when you are basing, men too, when you are basing finding somebody to share your life with based on looks alone, or heavily weighted on a certain person's looks, you may have a king Saul on your hands, and you're not going to end up in the right place. You won't. Yeah.
You might be a Solomon too. Remember Solomon, 700 wives, 300 concubines, none of them wanted the Lord.
Yeah.
And that's how he wound up writing the book of Ecclesiastes, at least one of the reasons why. He had the life. What these Manosphere folks think they want, he had it, and he said every single time it was vanity.
Yeah. Yep. True.
The richest, wisest human ever, he said, I had it. I had what you want. You want women, I had the women. You want the richest, I had the riches.
Yeah.
You want that big time lifestyle, I had it. And it's vanity compared to Christ.
Yeah. Wait, gracious greatness. Yoruba is a religion. I have one of my mentors. One of my mentors is Nigerian, and he's of the Yoruba tribe.
Yes, it is.
But he's not. He's a Christian. Like, he's official. And he's.
If I remember right, Beyonce practices that too, and that's why she keeps talking about Oshun.
So yeah, but what maybe I gotta ask him about this because like my one of my mentors, he's Nigerian. He's a lawyer. He's a Christian and a pastor. He's official, right? And him and his family are Yoruba, right? Um, so what makes Yoruba a religion? Oh, because within Yoruba, I know that there's Muslims and Christians in the Yoruba tribe in the Nigerian context. So what makes it a religion? Because now I've never heard of that before, and I have
all about what God they serve.
Yeah. So, but is it the tribe?
It's all about the God that they serve.
Is it a tribe of Nigerians, or is it because there's the Igbo, there's Yoruba, and there's one other predominant tribe in Nigeria? So I'm just trying to identify because I don't want anybody to be misled here. Is Yoruba a religion, or is it a tribe of people in Nigeria? Because from my understanding and in my relationship with many Nigerians who are Christians, they identify as Yoruba as the tribe, and they don't serve, they don't worship other gods. So I'm not sure what that is. Like, are you referring to, is that the reference?
Now, if I remember right, I remember Iyana Van Zandt is a Yoruba priestess, and I had to look it up to see what a Yoruba priestess is, and kind of find out that was they come from voodoo.
We can't get our cues so much from Ayala Van Zandt because she blends a whole lot of stuff. She blends a whole lot of stuff together. So she could that could just be a title that she's calling herself because it's connected to Africa. So again, I from my knowledge, Yoruba is a tribe in Nigeria, a tribe of people. It's not a religion. Yoruba isn't a religion, it's a tribe and language. There are Muslim, Christian, etc. Yeah, because I have like when I mean close friends, like that brother I was talking about in the live stream who had a wedding in Nigeria, who didn't invite me. Whatever, he's Yoruba.
You ain't gonna let that go, are you?
Nah. He knows. I still talk to him to this day. I said I never got that invite, but I ain't got the money to go. I didn't have the money to go, but still. But yeah, I don't want people to be misled, and maybe because there may be some bias there because I really love them, and they love me back. I have a lot of very close Nigerian people, Igbo and Yoruba, and never once because he would have told me, yeah, Yoruba is, because I've asked him about it, he would have told me Yoruba is a religion. They've only identified as a tribe. Now, Ayala Van Zandt might want to be known as a Yoruba priestess because maybe she has some direct descendants that are Yoruba, but I don't think it's a religion. In fact, I am pretty certain that Yoruba itself is not a religion. It's a tribe, a Nigerian tribe. Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go back and research. You might be right. I mean, I have heard of it on both parts, but I'll come back to you, and definitely if I'm wrong, I'll put it in the comments whenever you go live. I was wrong. I will do that.
Yeah. If you can, because I don't wanna. Not like when I mean like I have knowledge, like at least that part, experiential knowledge. I may not have the book knowledge, but the experiential knowledge from what I have with them. Yeah, not one time have they ever referenced any other God except for Yahweh, and Savior. So yeah. So C. Joe J is actually giving us some good information. She said there's a traditional religion practiced by the Yoruba people, but the tribe language is what's called Yoruba. Got you. I mean, okay. Thank you for that, sis. I appreciate it. Yeah. So she's really making sure that we stay on point with it. All right, bro. I really got to go though. I've been on. This is the longest live stream I've done in a long time. 2 hours and 15 minutes. You guys are keeping me on here. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you all.
I'm glad you're doing it. It's a blessing. Let me say this right now as you're closing out. Your live streams are a blessing. They definitely are. Very well informed, very well done.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're definitely welcome. Yeah. And I look forward to keep jumping on and looking at looking at these live streams. Thank you for giving me a wrench, and I hope I can help you in any way I can. But your streams are a blessing from God. Keep up the great work, my bro. And thank you for the t-shirts. Let me promote that now. He got some fire T-shirts, man.
Yeah,
Y'all better go
just
get
about
him.
just about to promote it. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it, bro.
Man, you be blessed, man. Y'all
You
be
too.
blessed. I'll be in the comments again.
All right, cool. God bless.
God bless.
All right, so listen, no more callers. I'm not answering any more calls, even though I probably would answer it if you call in, because I don't always get calls. And sometimes I get lonely here talking to the camera and then reading the comments, even though I'm not really lonely because I'm reading the comments. But Tommy, Strategic, thank you so much for clearing that up as well. There is a traditional religion, but it's pretty much like, if there was a tribe who had a traditional religion and missionaries came in and evangelized to a specific, people group, a tribe, then that tribe may make a decision to become Christian. They're still part of that tribe, but they're no longer practicing the tribal religion, but they connect to the culture of being that people group. So that's what it's called. Ifa. All right. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Greatly appreciate you all. Let me put them on. Now I'm definitely not taking any more calls. The theme music is on. All right, guys. So guys, listen, at the end of the day, make sure you guys clearly identify the end goal of those who you listen to and watch here on YouTube, those who you ingest content from, because it's going to either heal you or hurt you. And their motive might just be financial. And the love of money is the root of all evil. And if you love money more than you love the healing of your people or a people group, you're probably going to produce evil. So guys, just be watchful. And as Dyson said, let's be more logical and strategic in vetting who we're listening to, because you just might find yourself in a group of incels hating a demographic when really you need to be leveling up and healing yourself so you can be better for society as a whole. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, 2 hours and 17 minutes into the live stream and haven't liked the video, what is wrong with you? Like the video ahora, right now. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And by subscribing, you'll be joining the Harrison Extended family. That's what I call my YouTube community. You guys are my Harrison Extended family. And if you would like to support the channel financially, there's a couple of ways. Live stream, you can hit that super chat button, and we'll gladly accept any donation that will help promote this channel and the content of the channel. If you're watching the replay, hit the super thanks and leave a small donation. Any donation would be a blessing to us to help promote this channel as well and do upgrades as needed. You can also be a monthly supporter by joining YouTube memberships, clicking down below and picking any one of our inexpensive tiers. We have third cousins, second cousins, first cousins, and siblings. Those are you guys who will be family members through giving. And Patreon also has the same tiers. Patreon.com/Harrison Family Values. You can make monthly giving there as well. And also, this is my favorite way. If you guys, because again, people like to give money. I've always been funny about accepting people's money without providing a service. This last way is a way that I can provide you with a type of service or product, and you'll be able to financially support the channel. We have merchandise such as, but did you pray about it? Hoodies, t-shirts, we have coffee mugs, we have other designs that we are going to keep creating. But if you go on click down below, you see the merch there. If you're on your phones, scroll down a little bit, you see the merch there. You can purchase an item, purchase the merch. We get a kickback, and you get a dope hoodie, t-shirt, coffee mug, and whatso have you. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching the live stream. I greatly appreciate you all. And again, let's look to bring healing to our spaces and our communities and stop giving everybody who is a type of gimmick a platform. We have to stop it. We do. Okay. With that being said, I love you all. God bless you. And until the next upload live stream, I'm out. Peace.